So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So come to your mat, find a comfortable seat. So you can take a moment, maybe move around a little bit, maybe stretch your arms up. Just any kind of morning movements that feel good in your body. And then when you're ready, come to stillness. So eventually just close your eyes, sit up nice and tall, soften through your face, soften through your shoulders, and be intentional with where you place your hands. So maybe hands to heart, maybe hands just rest on your lap, maybe one hand to your heart space, one hand to your belly. And then take a moment to just become a little more present right here, right now. So whatever you've got going on in your day today, see if for now you can let go of that and just allow yourself to be fully present with your body, with your breath. So start to notice physical sensations that are there for you. Notice how your body feels this morning. Notice energetically how you are. And even any emotions that you might be feeling on the inside, where do you feel them? How do they feel? And then let's start to bring more awareness to our breath. And with your next inhale, fill up as big as you possibly can. Hold at the very, very top in absolute fullness. See if you can sit up taller, take up more space. And then as you're ready, big open mouth sigh, let it go. Do that 2 more times. So inhale, fill up. Hold in fullness. And as you hold this breath, see if you can soften around it. So relax through your face, through your outer shell, through your skin. And when you're ready, big open mouth sigh, let it go. And then one more time. So biggest inhale you've taken all morning long. And use this breath to just wake your body up from the inside. Fill all those little tiny spaces with prana, with life force energy. And then as you're ready, just that big audible sigh out your mouth. Now seal your lips. Start to engage your Ujjayi breath. So this powerful, vibrant breath that moves in and out through your nose by way of the back of your throat. So the inhale is just like you're taking a really deep, slow motion gasp. And the exhale is like you're fogging up a window, but with your lips gently sealed. So essentially, we want to fog up a window on the inside of our bodies and start to build our own internal heat. So this is your seated morning meditation. Stay here as long as you would like, just connecting with your breath, observing your body. When you feel ready to bring in some movement, we'll transition eventually onto our hands and our knees. So please, no rush, no hurry. But when you're ready, come to your hands and your knees, your tabletop position. And just start to explore any intuitive movement that calls to you. So you can get really creative, or you can stick with maybe just your cat-cows or hip circles. So whatever feels best in your body this morning. And I would encourage you for this part to close your eyes. So try to get out of that self-conscious part of your mind, the part that judges how you look, or if you look weird, or if you're doing it right. Let go of all that commentary and just allow yourself to feel into your body right here, right now. Notice what feels really good, what feels maybe really stiff or tight. See how many ways in which you can move through your spine, in which you can move all your different joints. So Sometimes I come into a tabletop and I explore movement for like 30 minutes, so we're only here for a couple. I promise there are endless ways in which you can move. So maybe you even come forward onto your belly, maybe you sit back into a child's pose. So this is just kind of a time for you to take a little inventory of your body. What's going on with your body this morning? Feel into it. Notice and observe. And then no rush again, but when you're ready, we will eventually all meet back in our first downward facing dog of practice. So you can get there just in your next few breaths. You can get there in your own way. So if you want to move through a vinyasa, if you want to take a hovering tabletop with your knees hovering above the ground and then slowly lift your hips up and press them back. So lots of different ways to get into your down dog. Once you are in down dog, so no rush at all, but once you're there, just start to explore this familiar posture. Start to feel into your down dog in this moment. And then over and over again, keep checking in with your breath. So make sure your breath is still there. It's still big and spacious, really powerful. Can you feel your exhales? Take them all the way to empty and feel your belly button pull in and up towards your spine so you feel more of a connection to your center. Take about 4 or 5 rounds in your downward facing dog, and you can go anywhere you want to go. So maybe you want to lift one leg up and then the other. Maybe you just want to pedal out your heels. Perhaps you want to rock forward into plank and press back to down dog a couple times. So again, from this position, explore movement. Think of doing a little dance on your yoga mat from the position of downward facing dog. Big deep breaths. So since this is going to be a deep power class, we're not going to be speeding through the poses. We're going to be staying and sitting a little bit longer in each pose and really tuning into the alignment, tuning into our breath, and seeing what each pose has to offer us. So starting right here with your downward dog, what can you discover? Feel the strength in your arms, the strength in your belly. Start to work the length in the backs of your legs. Let's take just one more big inhale into our dog pose. And then as you exhale, gaze forward to the top of your mat, step, tiptoe, or hop, forward fold. Once you've arrived, bring your feet mat width distance apart, so your feet are wider than your hips. All 10 toes face directly forward. Inhale to a halfway lift position, so spine nice and long, and then bring your left fingertips to the ground underneath your chest. Reach your right arm to the sky for a twist. If possible, keep both legs straight. If you need to bend your left knee a little bit or a lot, that's fine. If you want to take this further, right arm can wrap behind your back, and then left hand grabs the outside of your right ankle. You can use that as gentle leverage to twist. So big deep breaths, couple more rounds. Try to keep your spine long rather than rounding, and keep the backs of your legs as long as possible. Take one more breath, use your exhale to wring out, and then very end of your exhalation, unwind, and we'll switch sides. So right fingertips on the ground, left arm to the sky. Twist from your center, from your belly button. Both legs as straight as possible. If you need to bend your right knee, that's fine. If you'd like, you can take your left arm behind your back. Right hand grabs the outside of your left ankle. Gently press your hand against your leg. Twist a little further. Couple more deep breaths. So use your breath to work your twist from the inside. Very, very end of your next exhale. Unwind. Keep your feet where they're at and just grab opposite elbows, ragdoll pose. So with your feet nice and wide, bring your weight just ever so slightly forward so you're not rocking back into your heels, and let your torso sway or swing from side to side. Your neck should be nice and relaxed, your head heavy. So if it's helpful, you can bend your knees a little or a lot. Just let your upper body be really relaxed, give into gravity. With your core, imagine there is a rope attached to your belly button and it's pulling up towards the ceiling. So see if you can find a lift coming from your center. See if you can lift your sit bones higher towards the sky. Take just one more big deep breath here. And then at the end of your exhale, release your elbows, heel toe your feet in, hips width distance or big toes touch, it's up to you. And then as slow as you can, roll up to stand, one vertebra at a time. Let your arms and your head hang heavy the entire way. So we're not going to reach our arms up just yet. The very, very top, your head lifts up and stacks over your spine. Once your head is stacked, take a few rolls with your shoulders. So roll your shoulders up, back, and down a couple times. And then eventually, shoulders roll back and down, palms open to face forward. This is your mountain pose, Tadasana. So stand with so much awareness, so much intention, with so much alignment. Let's take a big inhale here. Press down through your feet, draw up through the crown of your head. Hold in fullness. Exhale, open mouth sigh, let it go. Ujjayi breath, let's flow. Inhale, high mountain. Stretch tall, maybe a little gaze up. Exhale, ride your breath down, nice and easy. So take your time, traction out your spine, then fold in. With your inhale, lift up halfway. So create as much length as you can from the top of your head back to your hips. Exhale, release, forward fold, bow in. Now press into your feet, engage your core, lead with your heart, come through your halfway lift and continue to rise. Inhale, reach up, open up the front of your hips. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, just like that. Think of it as a moving meditation. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, slow dive down. So try not to hurry this. Feel your body move through space. At the end of your exhale, you let it go. Inhale, lift up halfway, find that length. And exhale, fold. Crown of your head towards the ground, sit bones towards the sky, belly draws in and up. Now press into your feet, lead with your heart, rise up. Inhale, stretch, reach, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, inhale, take your arms to the sky. And then this time, exhale, hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. So once you've got your fingers interlaced, roll your shoulders back and down, squeeze shoulder blades towards your spine. If you want to make this more intense, press your palms together like they're suction cupped. Imagine your elbows are magnetized, so also squeeze your elbows closer together. Now, if it's available to you, see if you can start to lift your hands away from your body, so towards the back of your yoga mat. And then if you want, you can even add a little back bend. So lift your heart up, reach your knuckles down, press your hips gently forward, but keep a tone through your low abdominals. Take one more big inhale. Keep your clasp. Exhale, hinge at your hips, slow dive down, forward fold. Hold your clasp, so keep your hands together. Inhale to your halfway lift. Squeeze your back muscles around your spine as you lengthen. Exhale, keep your fingers interlaced, refold. See if you can hold this for about 2 or 3 more breaths. So bend your knees as much as you need to so you can relax your neck. Let your head be heavy, and then think of lifting your sit bones up, 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 and then lift your knuckles even higher. Possibly you even start to reach forward. Try not to lock out your elbows. Your palms can stay pressed together if you were taking that variation, or at this point it might feel nice to let that go. Just keep your fingers interlaced. Take one more big, huge inhale, your fullest expression. Exhale, hands to low back, gently release your clasp, let your arms hang. So give them a nice little shake out, feel the blood rushing back through. And then as you're ready, plant your palms and step your feet to the back of your yoga mat, plank position. We're gonna inhale at the top of our push-up. Now listen, exhale, lower down to your forearms, keep your belly strong as you transition. So forearm plank, belly is engaged as you lower down. Now keep your belly strong and your hips as steady as possible. Press back up to your hands, high plank. We're gonna do that again. Exhale, lower down to your forearms, forearm plank. Inhale, press back up to your hands, high plank. Belly stays strong the entire time. This time stay in your high plank and just start to rock a little bit. So forward and back. Nothing changes in the position of your body. You're just transferring your weight forward, transferring your weight back. Next time you inhale, find your little rock forward. Stir on your tippy toes. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, press back up. Come to your knees if you want to modify. One more time. Exhale, little rock, lower halfway. Try not to let your shoulders roll forward. Inhale, press up. And then this time, exhale, slow as you can go, all the way to your belly. Spider-Man Cobra. So bring your hands out nice and wide, lift to your fingertips, elbows face the sky, and then lift your chest up. So you can lift just as high as feels right to you. Now pause here, bend your right knee, left leg stays extended, press into your right fingertips, roll onto the outside of your left hip. So think of a scorpion tail with your right leg. Reach your right tiptoes towards the ground behind you. And then you can kind of let your left shoulder dip down. Feel that nice stretch in the front of your left shoulder. If you want to take it deeper, reach your right tiptoes up towards your left hand a little bit further. Take one more deep breath. End of your exhale, unwind. And we'll switch sides. So right leg is now straight, left knee bends. Press into your left fingertips. Roll onto the outside of your right hip. So now think of that scorpion tail with your left leg. Let your right shoulder dip down. Breathe. Perhaps take your left toes closer to your right fingertips behind you. Take one more deep breath. End of your exhale. Come back to center and release. Choose one more back bend variation. So anywhere you want to go. Baby cobra, full cobra, up dog, sphinx. You can give it a couple breaths or so. Maybe move a little bit, explore a little bit. And then when you're ready, we'll see you back in downward facing dog. Alrighty, my friends. From your down dog, take your right leg to the sky. So press into your hands, press up through your right foot. So think of the longest, strongest line of energy you can create from your fingertips all the way up to your toes. Lift with your belly button. So imagine there's an invisible rope. It's pulling up, it's tugging slightly back. Take one more big inhale. Exhale, right knee to your nose, so curl in. Keep your hips nice and high. Stay here as you breathe in, push the ground away. You should be on your back tippy toes, and then exhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat. We're going to come into a low lunge with our back knee on the ground. So I have carpet underneath me, which makes it nice and soft. If you need to double up the side of your mat, or if you want to grab something like a blanket or a pillow, put it underneath your back knee, feel free. Bring your hands up to your front thigh, and then walk your front foot forward just about an inch or two. Start to lean forward like you want to sit your right butt cheek on your right heel. Don't let your left hip turn out to the left. So actively think of turning your left hip forward and even left inner thigh in and back. So you're hugging towards midline. There's muscle energy in your legs as you sit into the posture. So right butt cheek towards your right heel. You can stay here with your hands on your front thigh, or next option, take your arms to the sky. As you reach up, keep some strength, some tone to your lowest, deepest abdominals. So as you draw your belly button back towards your spine, see if you can lengthen even more. Stay here, or your final option, hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, roll your shoulders back and down. Squeeze shoulder blades towards your spine. And then if you can, start to reach your hands back. Maybe knuckles down, heart up. Keep a tone through your low belly. Keep working your right butt cheek towards your right heel, and make sure you can breathe those big, deep, spacious breaths wherever you're at. Take about 2 more rounds. Good job, you guys. If you have your fingers interlaced, end of your next exhale, release. Inhale to re-extend. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the inside of your right foot. Walk your right foot out to the width of your yoga mat. Now, without just leaning over to the left, which is so tempting because it's so much easier, start to lower your upper body towards the ground, but think of leaning over to the right and even slightly forward. So as you lower your upper body down, you're pushing your weight to the right towards your front leg. Keep your front knee over your ankle or a little bit behind it. So if you need to, walk your front foot forward a little further. You can spin your right toes slightly out to the right or even roll onto the outer edge of your right foot. Just keep your right ankle really strong. So for some of you, you might stay up on your hands and just bend your elbows a little bit. For some of you, you might walk your hands forward and almost bring your forearms to the ground. Some of you will be able to come down to your forearms and just be there. So wherever you're at, find your breath. Make sure you can breathe. Soften your face, unclench your jaw. This pose should feel intense, and if it doesn't, that probably means you're collapsing. So if you're leaning over to the left, see if you can adjust. I know it's harder, but that doesn't mean that it's bad or wrong. It just means there's intensity there. There's sensation happening. See if you can sit with it. Breathe into it. Take about 2 or 3 more rounds. Exhale out your mouth anytime you'd like. Good job, my friends. Last big, huge breath. Breathe into your hips. And then end of your exhale, rise back up to your hands if you're not there already. Plant your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. And then just work your right foot to the back of your mat so you're in a plank position now. We're going to roll onto the baby toe edge of our right foot. So side plank, Vashisthasana. Right hand is your foundation. Left arm to the sky. You can bring your right knee to the ground if you want to modify. No big deal. Otherwise, your knees are lifted and your hips are lifting super high. Option to take your left arm forward, so lengthen through your left side body. Breathe into your left side body. Option to take your left leg up. And then final option here, if you would like, step your left tiptoes down behind you. Rotate your heart to look up at the sky for a wild thing. So wherever you are at, 2 more big breaths. You guys are awesome. Soften your face, unclench your jaw. Take 1 more inhale. Exhale, come back to your plank pose. Now listen, just like we did before, lower down to your forearms, forearm plank. Elbows underneath your shoulders. Forearms parallel, palms face down, fingers spread wide. If you want to interlace your fingers, that will be a little less intense. We're going to move into dolphin pose. So without letting your elbows drift apart, start to walk your toes in and lift your hips high. Imagine there's an invisible rope pulling up on your belly button. Keep pressing down through your forearms so you don't want your head touching the ground. Keep lifting up through your hips, lengthening through your spine. Breathe. Take about 4 or 5 breaths here. You can stay where you're at or take your right leg to the sky. Press up with your right foot to take weight out of your upper body. So this pose for me is so hard. There's so much strength work happening. I'm going to see if I can find a little bit of softness. So try to soften through my face, soften through my outer shell, soften with my exhales. Take about 2 more deep breaths. Arms strong, shoulders strong, belly strong. Face soft. Breath is moving and flowing. End of your next exhale. So you can exhale out your mouth if you want. Right foot down, knees down. Take a rest. So child's pose, embryo pose, which just means you're reaching your hands back to grab your heels or towards your heels. Or if you want to take seated meditation, just a kneeling position, that's perfect as well. So just take a moment to relax, to come back to your breath, to slow it down, smooth it out. Make your exhales a little longer than your inhales. And just feel the energy that you've created, the energy that's always there, it's always within you, but now it's just moving, you can feel it. Good job, you guys. In your next couple rounds, so take a couple more just restorative grounding breaths, and then we'll find our way back to downward facing dog once again. So downward facing dog, big deep breaths. Next time you inhale, take your left leg to the sky. So left leg extends back and up, make it straight, strong, and powerful. So for a long time I thought my left leg was straight, and then I watched a video and I'm like, oh my gosh, my left leg has a huge bend in it. So look up at your left leg, is it straight? And if not, can you straighten it? So I don't care how high it goes, but just make it strong and powerful, like you're stomping it into an invisible wall. You're trying to stomp through an invisible wall. As you press up through your left foot, press down through your hands, lift from your center, from your belly button. Let's take one more big inhale. See if you can lift your right butt cheek higher. Exhale, knee to your nose, so curl in, keep your hips really high, stay here as you breathe in, push the ground away, high on your back tippy toes, and then like you're stepping over something, left foot to the top of your mat. Bring your back knee down gently, grab some extra padding if you need it, put it underneath your back knee, and then hands come up to your front thigh. Good. Walk your front foot forward just a little tiny bit. And then think left butt cheek towards your left heel. So lean forward through your lower body. As you work your left butt cheek to your left heel, don't let your right hip turn out to the right. So continue to rotate your right hip forward and even in towards midline. Take a moment here and make sure you're not leaning forward with your upper body so your heart is still lifted. Your low belly is toned. Option to take your arms to the sky. Stay here, or final option, hands behind you, interlace your fingers. This time, switch them to one finger over, so it's your non-habitual way of clasping. It will feel a little bit funky, and that's okay. Roll your shoulders back and down, shoulder blades hug your spine. If you can, reach your hands back. Try not to lock out your elbows. And then maybe heart lifts up, so chest towards your chin. Take your throat back, reach your knuckles down, keep your belly toned. Keep working your left hip towards your left heel. Make sure you're breathing big, deep, spacious breaths. Good job, my friends. Take one last round, your fullest expression. Give it everything you've got. If your fingers are interlaced, release. Take your arms to the sky, breathe in. And then everybody exhale, hands to the ground inside your left foot. Walk your left foot out to the width of your mat, and maybe walk your left foot forward just a bit as well. Start to lower your upper body down without just collapsing over to the right. So think of pushing your weight to the left towards your front leg. You want to keep your knee, your left knee, over your ankle or a little bit behind it. So if you need to walk your front foot further forward, please do. So as long as you're not leaning to the right, then you won't collapse the pose. So wherever you're at, you can just relax into it and soften around it. If you want to spin your left toes a little bit out to the left or roll onto the outer edge of your left foot, you can. Just make sure your ankle stays strong. Keep pushing your weight to the left and slightly forward, and then just breathe. Big, spacious breaths. Take about 3 more rounds. You can exhale out your mouth anytime. Visualize your breath moving down into your left hip, creating space, creating softening. One last round, biggest, hugest breath you can possibly take. And then rise back up onto your hands. Plant your hands shoulder width distance apart. Spread your fingers wide. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, and then work your left foot to the back of your mat. So now you're in your plank pose. From here, we've got our side plank. Left hand is our base this time. So roll onto the baby toe edge of your left foot, right arm to the sky. If you want to bring your if you want to bring your left knee down, no big deal. That's a great modification. If you don't have your left knee down, lift your hips super high. Option to take your right arm forward. So think of a rainbow shape with your body. Stretch and lengthen through your right side. Perfect place to stay. Or maybe you float your right leg up or possibly step your right tiptoes down behind you. Wild thing. Rotate your heart to look up. Wherever you've taken this posture, you've got 2 more deep breaths. Fullest expression, find strength, find softness, find effort, find ease. Take 1 more inhale. Exhale, come back to your plank. And 1 more time, I know you guys love this, lower down to your forearms, forearm plank. So take a moment. Elbows are shoulder width distance apart. Forearms either parallel, palms face down, fingers spread wide, or interlace your fingers for less intensity. Press down through your forearms so your shoulders are strong, you're not sinking into them. Now, without letting your elbows drift apart, start to crawl your toes forward towards your elbows as you lift your hips high, dolphin pose. 4 or 5 breaths in your dolphin. Stay here or left leg to the sky this time. Press up with your left foot. Your head should not be touching the ground, so if it is, press down more firmly through your forearms. Squeeze in through your elbows and your upper arms. Lift from your belly button. That invisible rope is pulling up. Soften around it. Soften your face. Soften your outer shell. Take just 2 more breaths. I promise you can do anything for 2 breaths. Good job, my friends. End of your next exhale. Left foot comes down. Knees come down. Take your rest. Child's embryo or heroes. So just relax. Reconnect to you. What's going on inside, energetically, emotionally, physically. Just feel it all and welcome it all. Let it just move through you. Take a couple more rounds. And then we will meet back in downward facing dog once again. Alright, so when you're back in your down dog, take just a moment to stretch it out. Take a great big inhale. Exhale, look to the top of your mat, step or hop, forward fold. Once you have arrived, find your halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, bow, fold in. Root through your feet and take it all the way up to stand. Inhale to stretch your arms up, gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, we're gonna work with balance for a moment. So if you like to come to a wall or come off of your mat onto a harder ground or something like that, feel free to do so. We'll balance on our right foot first. So right foot roots down, and then bend your left knee, left heel towards your left butt cheek. Bring your left hand back, grab the outer edge of your left foot to begin with, and then hug in towards midline. So think of kissing your knees together or getting them as close as you can. Now tone your belly so your belly's not sticking out and your back doesn't have this big huge arch in it. Tone your belly. This can be where you stay. Get a nice quad stretch here. You can even bring your right hand back to grab the inner edge of your foot. Stay here if you want. Otherwise, right arm to the sky. Move your left hand to the inside of your left foot, so the big toe side. And then start to hinge at your hips. So keeping your hips as square as possible, hinge forward, and then kick foot into hand, pull hand back into foot, dancer pose. Once you've got that, so you're kicking foot into hand, hand back into foot, you're hinging forward. See if you can lift your chest ever so slightly, little tiny baby cobra. So feel your back muscles hug around your spine. Take 2 more rounds in your pose, and if you're falling in and out, that's totally fine. Meet yourself where you're at. Good job, my friends. Take one last full breath. We're going to come out of it slowly, so very nice and easy. Try to stay balanced on your right foot. Listen, standing staff, so left knee out in front of you, arms to the sky. Stay here or extend your left leg forward. Try not to lean back. We're going to hold here for 3, 2, stand a little taller, lift a little higher, and 1. Let it go. Shake it out. All right, let's just move through a vinyasa before we take the other side. So if you came off your mat, meet us at the top. Exhale all the air out. Ujjayi breath, inhale, reach up. And exhale, flow, slow dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank, vinyasa your way. So add push-ups, take it on your knees, totally up to you. You can take an extra breath or 2 in your back bend if you'd like. Eventually back to downward facing dog. Take just a moment to walk it out in your down dog. One last big inhale. Exhale, gaze forward, step or float, top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow, fold in. Root through your feet and rise. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, so get ready to balance. If you want to move to a wall or move anywhere else, go for it. Left foot is your base. Bend your right knee, right heel towards your right butt cheek. So find your balance here first. Then take your right hand back, grab the outer edge of your foot to start. From here, just find midline. So hug in with your inner thighs, tone your low belly. You can stay here and even take your left hand back to grab the inner edge of your foot. This might be your pose. Get a nice quad stretch. Perfect. If you want to go to the next level, left arm to the sky. Move your right hand to the big toe edge of your right foot. And then little micro bend in your left knee as you hinge at your hips. And then kick foot into hand, pull hand back into foot. So that tension that you create is what helps you balance. Keep kicking, keep pulling, spread through your toes. See if you can find that little lift in your heart like a baby cobra. Back muscles hug around your spine. Hug in with your inner thighs, so keep your hips as square as possible. Take 2 more big deep breaths, 2 more rounds here. Find your fullest expression. If you fall out, totally fine. That's what we're doing. We're practicing. We're going to come out really slowly. So end of your next exhale, try to stay balanced on your left foot as you lift back up. Stay balanced on your left foot, standing staff. So arms reach, right knee lifts out in front of your body. You can stay here or extend your right leg forward. Press out through your heel, draw in through your low abdominals. Hold here, hug in with your inner thighs for 3, 2, lift a little higher, reach, and 1, let it go. All right, now we're gonna do something that I love, that I do in my own practice all the time, just shaking. So you're just gonna shake your body, shake your arms and your legs as fast as you can. Close your eyes. Shake, 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 shake. Everything really, really fast. Just think of getting energy moving, blood flowing. Keep shaking for 10. Shake, shake, shake. 5. Shake, shake, shake. 3, 2, 1. Be still. Palms face open, mountain pose. Close your eyes and just feel whatever is there to feel. Notice whatever is there to notice. Slow down your breath. Let's take a great big inhale. Root down through your feet. Draw up through the crown of your head. Broaden through your shoulders. Hold. Exhale. Open mouth. Sigh. Ujjayi breath. Inhale. Arms reach up. This time, exhale, add a little baby back bend. So cactus your arms, lift your heart, open up. Low abdominals stay strong. Inhale, arms re-extend, realign. And then exhale, take it all the way down, forward fold. With your inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Move through your vinyasa your way. We'll see you back in downward facing dog. Big, spacious breaths. All right, from your down dog, inhale your right leg to the sky. And this time, open up your right hip. So bend your right knee, squeeze through your outer right glute as you reach your right knee out to the right and then up towards the ceiling. So try not to collapse into your left wrist, your left shoulder, or your left hip. Just allow that right hip to open. Take one more big inhale here. Exhale, right knee to your left elbow or as close as you can come. Inhale, three-legged dog, right leg high. Exhale, right knee, right armpit. Get as high as you can on your arm. Optional push-up if you want. Bend your elbows, don't let your butt drop. Inhale, three-legged dog. And then listen, exhale, pigeon pose. Bring your right shin to the top of your mat. Set your body down gently. So make sure your right knee is wider than your right hip, not in line with your right hip, and then pull right hip back, left hip forward. So you want to plug the femur bones into the sockets, stabilize first, and then start to work into your stretch. Bow forward when you're ready. Big, deep breaths. Soften your face, your neck, your shoulders. Energetically keep pulling your right hip towards the back of your mat. And then if you want to take it deeper, you can scoot your back knee back further. Take about 5 to 7 more slow, deep breaths. About your last 3 breaths here, so if you want to exhale out your mouth, feel free. Alright, so last exhalation, let it go, take it all the way to empty, and then listen, we're going to lift our upper body. We'll find a seat, so nice and easy, just sit over onto your right butt cheek, your hips open, swing your left leg around. Take both legs out in front of you for a moment, give them a nice little shake out, especially your right leg. And we're going to keep working with our hips. So I'll give you a couple options, don't worry. First option is just left foot on the ground with your left knee bent, outer right ankle to the top of your left thigh, and then hands are behind you. Rather than rounding and leaning back like I'm doing, think of rolling your shoulders back, lifting up through your chest. The closer you bring your heel to your butt and your legs to your chest, the deeper of a stretch that will give you. So this is first option. Second option is double pigeon or fire log pose. So right shin on top of left shin, right on top of left, so we're working with our right hip still. And then you want both shins parallel, outer ankle to your inner knee. You don't want your foot inside your calf. Outer ankle, inner knee might look something like this. If this is how it looks, you're sitting up tall. I'm going to give you an option here. So if you're in double pigeon and your knee is even with your hip, it's nice and level, option to work into a twist. So first step will be right hand to the sole of your right foot, left hand to your sacrum. And then second option, right elbow to the sole of your left foot, hands to prayer, or fist with your right hand, left palm presses into your fist. You're kind of using that as leverage to twist and to get a deeper stretch in your right hip. If you do not like doing this, if you're like, I don't think that's benefiting me, I don't think that's what I want, then don't do it. Just work with your fold forward. About 5 breaths wherever you've chosen to go. You don't have to pick one way and then stick with it the entire time. You can explore. Take a couple more rounds. Breathe down into your hips. And then if you are in a forward fold or a twist, slowly unwind and lift your upper body. Take your legs out in front of you again, everybody. Give them a nice little shake out. And then this is just for fun. So you're going to grab hold, so you can bend your knees. You're going to grab hold of the outer edge of your left foot with your left hand. And then outer edge of your right foot with your right hand. And then first, kind of come into a balancing happy baby position. So you're balancing on your sit bones. Think of pulling back with your shoulders and lifting up through your chest. Toes point up towards the sky if possible, or slightly out. And then if you want to get crazy, this is the fun part. Stay balanced on your sit bones and see if you can extend your legs. So wide-legged straddle, press out through your heels. Woo! You have to engage your core, lift through your chest. I know it's hard, just have fun with it. Take a couple more breaths, flex your toes. Good job. And then go ahead, let go of that. We'll meet back in down dog. So I'm just gonna cross my ankles, rock forward, step back. You can get there however you want. I'm gonna take a vinyasa. And then we'll see you back in downward facing dog. All right, friends, keep your breath big and spacious, just a little longer. So fire it back up if you've lost it. Next inhale, take your left leg to the sky. Exhale, peel your left hip open. Try not to collapse into your right side at all. So squeeze your outer left butt cheek. Reach your left knee out to the left, then up. Take a moment here. Feel that stretch, that opening through the front of your hip. Take one more inhale. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Draw navel to spine. Don't let your hips sink lower than your shoulders. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, left armpit. So as high as you can get on your arm, maybe you add a little push-up. Try not to collapse through your right shoulder. Don't let it roll forward. Inhale, back up. And then exhale, pigeon. Left shin forward, set your body down. So left knee wider than your hip. So there's a diagonal line from your hip out to your knee. Pull your left hip back, right hip forward. So plug the femur bones into their sockets so you're not just sinking into your joints. And then when you're ready, begin to bow forward. And then even as you're bowing forward, left hip is dragging energetically towards the back of your mat. You can scoot your back knee back a little further at any time to go deeper. Breathe. Big, spacious breaths down into your left hip. Soften where you can soften. So think of keeping the integrity, the structure of the pose, but then softening and relaxing around it. So you've probably heard me say this before if you often come to my classes, but I like to think of how we can make a really, really tight fist with our hand, and then we can keep the structure of that fist, but just soften our fingers within it. So same thing you want to do with this posture. Take about 4 more breaths. Last couple of rounds. Exhale out your mouth if you'd like. And then slowly, let's begin to lift back up. And then ease your way onto your left butt cheek. Swing your right leg around. Take your legs out. Give them that nice little shake out. Same options on this side. So left leg is on top. You can bring your right foot to the ground. Knee bent. Outer left ankle on top of your right thigh. This is a really great opener for your hips. So don't feel like you're taking the easy way out if you take this variation. Otherwise, double pigeon, fire log pose. So remember, you don't want your foot on the inside of your calf. You want your foot right on the inside of your knee, or your ankle, I should say, right on the inside of your knee. If your left knee is higher than your hip, then you're just sitting up nice and tall here. That's where you stay. If your knee is even with your hip, you can choose to move into that twist. So you twist to the right, left hand to the sole of your left foot, right hand to your low back, or left tricep to the sole of your foot, hands to prayer, use that as leverage. If you're like, I don't think that feels good to me, I don't think it's benefiting me, you just want to fold forward, perfectly fine. As much as you can, try to keep both sit bones rooted down. Imagine you're reaching your left butt cheek back. Keep your feet active, your ankles strong, and just big, deep breaths. Again, if you want to move around a little bit, explore a little bit within the pose, you're always welcome to do so. Take about 3 more breaths. All right, my friends, next exhale all the way to empty. And then slowly, if you're twisted or folded, slowly rise back up. Again, uncross your legs, give them a nice little shake out. All right, and I'm gonna give you a few options. So you can watch me first and then decide what you wanna do. So you're going to start with boat pose, holding here. So maybe all you want to do is just hold in boat pose for a while, get some core workout. That's perfectly fine. Otherwise, from boat, you're going to grab behind your thighs and you're going to start to rock forward and back. So maybe you just want to rock for a while along your spine, give your spine a nice little massage against the ground. If you choose to rock and you want to go to the next level, this is your option. You're going to keep rocking and then get to the point where you can plant your feet and reach your arms forward. So now I have my feet on the ground, my arms are reaching forward. So you might play with that a couple of times. It's so much harder than it looks. Woo. And then if you want to get crazy, come to your feet, plant your hands on the ground in front of you, see if you can pop up into a crow pose. Maybe hold that for a couple breaths or so, and then when you're ready, feet to the ground, come back to your rolls. So you choose any of those options. Today apparently is all about options. So about 5 breaths, 5 to 7 breaths to just play wherever you want to go. And then once you are done, you've had enough of playing, you're like, fun is over for me today, then go ahead and just take it down onto your back, hug your knees in, rock gently from side to side. So no rush, but eventually meet me on your back. Hug your knees in, gentle rock from side to side. Good, you guys. All right, and then from our back, we're going to bring our feet to the ground and then soles of your feet together, knees apart. So just relaxing through our hip flexor muscles. So feet together, knees apart, just relaxing. Bring your arms down by your sides, palms face down. Exhale in your breath. And as you inhale, press your heels firmly together, lift your butt up. Squeeze your outer glutes. See if you can lift your hips even higher. And then imagine that somebody had their hands on the insides of your knees and they were pressing down. So see if you can press your knees closer to the ground as you lift your hips higher towards the sky. Take one more big inhale, lift, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, release. We're going to do that 2 more times. So take a moment to just rest. Let your breath wash over you. Exhale. And then with your next inhale, press your heels together. Lift your hips. Squeeze your outer glutes. Knees towards the ground. So an invisible pair of hands comes to the inside of your knees and your thighs and presses down, and then you're pressing up against it. So lift your hips higher, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You should feel a tremble. It's the sacred tremble. Give it one more big inhale. Exhale, let it go. This is one of the best releases for our psoas, hip flexors. So we'll take one last round. Take a moment, relax, exhale. And then next time you breathe in, heels press, hips lift, glutes squeeze, knees towards the ground. Press down through your palms, lift your hips higher. Soften through your face, lift your hips higher. Press your knees further down. Take one more big inhale. Press your heels together, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, let it go. Good job. So now go ahead, lift your knees up. Bring your feet out to the width of your mat, so feet wider than hips. Tee out your arms or cactus your arms, and just windshield wiper your knees from side to side a few times. Good work, my friends. And after you've gone to each side a couple times, let your knees just stay on one side for about 3 or 4 breaths. And if there's a different variation you want to take, so you guys know the variation with one foot on the outside of your knee. I can't say which foot since we're all going different directions, but I think you know what I'm talking about. So any variation you want to take here, or just let your knees relax to one side. Breathe. Slow, deep breaths. And then as you're ready, just switch to the other side. Feel the rise and fall, the expansion and contraction of each inhale, each exhale. When you feel pretty even on both sides, return to center and find a full body stretch. So legs long, arms long, pull yourself apart. So like your body is made of taffy and you're being pulled on, your ankles, your wrists, pulled in opposite directions. Get as long as you can. Take a great big inhale, reach, 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 lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And exhale, let it go, happy baby. And if there are any more postures, any more movement, stretches that you would like to take for yourself to complete your own practice, then give yourself just a moment to move through them and eventually settle into your final relaxation, your Shavasana. And then as you guys make your way into your final resting pose, my reading for you today is by Jeff Foster. And it's just called Be the Light. There is a love that cannot die. There is a light that cannot be extinguished, that time cannot touch. There is an intimacy so strong and immediate, we spend our lives wondering where it's gone. Do not seek joy. Let it find you. Let it creep up on you in your private moments, unexpected. Let it reach you in the depths of your brokenness and despair and your exhaustion from seeking it in time. Love the place where you are. Love the ground upon which you stand. For it is this very ground that joy is heading toward, the ground from which your new life will grow, even if now upon the ground you find your own inability to wait. Remain open to the possibilities of grace, for she moves in mysterious patterns and cannot be captured by anyone who tries. So just a reminder that sometimes the more we try and the more we fight with life, the more we realize that life is just happening, and it's not happening to us, it's happening for us. And if we can just relax into it, flow with it, give into it, soften around it, that's where we find joy. That's where we feel grace. That's where we feel into the deepest part of ourself in the present moment, which is pure love. So for these last couple of moments, just rest against the ground. And just let your body give in. And this is the ground from which your new life will grow. The ground that joy is heading towards. So I will leave you here. If you have just 30 more seconds to spend it here in your Shavasana. If you have 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, spend as long as you can. Just relaxing, soaking in the energy, the efforts of our practice. And then you can close your practice for yourself in whatever way resonates for you when you are ready to go about your day. So thank you guys so much for joining me, for letting me guide you. I love you, and I hope to be able to see you in person in the new year. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.